Welcome, fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic 90s nerds to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yeah, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers, but plenty of stuff in between, including, yes, books! So it is another book-themed video. Today we are going to be going over my September TBR. We are approaching spooky season. Will my TBR reflect that in my choices? I don't know. You guys will have to wait and see. So stay where you are, because we're going to go to this short intro. But when we come back, we will dig into the book talk, and it'll be a lot of fun. Alright, see you back here in just a second. Welcome back, guys! Alright, let's go over the September TBR. So I'm hoping that I can get through the whole TBR and then have room for some extra mood reads or something, but we'll see. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself or anything like that. I don't want to count the eggs before they hatch, as they say, or I think that's the phrase. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to have too much confidence going into September that I could just, read everything on this flippin' long list, it feels like. But we will see. I'm hoping I can get through everything and even add some more stuff that I'm not even going to mention today. But first off, let's start off with a book that is a book for my official YouTube channel book club. So guys, my book club is open to anyone and everyone. The official name of the book club is the Midnight Book Society. Yes, an ode to Are You for the Dark, one of my favorite old school 90s shows. Such a wonderful nostalgic show, and it's got a lot of awesome, spooky, creepy vibes, especially for a kid's show, so I really love the name. Thanks guys for helping me pick it out, by the way. Alright, so I usually have 2 book club reads for every single month. That way, if somebody doesn't feel like one of the books, they could actually read the other book, or if they're really feeling very, very accomplished, like they can get a lot done and ambitious, then they can read both the books. But for September and October, because I feel like it's going to be a very busy time, not only for everyone else, but also for me, I'm going to be creating a lot of Halloweenish content, I decided to just have one official book club pick for both September and October. And I already know what my October book will be, so I'll tell you about that. But first off, September. So the September book club pick will be The Amulet by Michael McDowell. I'm really, really eager to get to this. I know people like Katrina over at Katrina Brown, check out her channel. She read this and loved it. I've heard a lot of good things from a lot of different people, not just Katrina, but Katrina did really enjoy this. We can see a necklace on the cover, and so you can guess that a haunted object comes into play in the plot, and it does. And McDowell is from the South, so a lot of his books take place in the South. Some of his books are slow burns, but then the horror picks up, so this could be the case with this book. I don't know. I don't want to know too much going into it. I just have heard fantastic things, and so I am excited. So this will be the official book club pick for September once again, and I will have a live show sometime in the next month, in October, and it will include spoilers. So you have a whole month to read this, all of September, and then you could join me for the live show. You could share your opinions on the book, your rating of the book, etc., etc., and I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. And I'll have more information, like the exact date, later. So I will announce that on my community tab and also on my Discord. The Discord will be linked below, and that's also a place where you guys can talk about your experience reading this as you go along. There'll be a space to discuss this. And why not tell you what the read will be for October? So looking ahead for October, my official book club read will be Usher's Passing by Robert McCammon. Yes, I am on a Robert McCammon kick. I am obsessed with Robert McCammon. This is kind of a mini spoiler for my wrap-up for August, but I had only one McCammon book, which was Mystery Walk, on my TBR for August, but I ended up reading 3 McCammon books instead of just one. So I will talk about all of that in my wrap-up to come very soon. But yes, I'm obsessed with him, to say the least, once again. And we will be reading another McCammon book. We will be reading Usher's Passing in October because I think this will be the perfect book for the spooky season. Look at this fantastic cover, pumpkin on the Flippin cover itself, so it really has me excited to dig into this. Essentially, this is a different take or a play off of the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Fall of the House of Usher. So you might want to read that short story by Edgar Allan Poe. There's also a great YouTube video, I'll link it below, where they have Christopher Lee narrating The Fall of the House of Usher, and it's like a little animated version of the story. So I will link that below. It's a really cool way to get familiar with the story if you don't feel like reading it. Or you could read it and check out the YouTube story, because it was really fantastically done. It was really, really just well made. So I suggest that, and I will link it below once again. I keep saying once again. No more once agains, but yes, it will be linked down below. And this is for October, and this is for September. So one book for each month, and I will let you guys know when it will go back to 2 books a month, if and when. Alright guys, I can't wait. Next up, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be reading for my Year of King project for the month of September. So if you're not familiar and you're new here, I've been doing this awesome, really fun, really extensive project where I read, along with my friend Kat, a Stephen King book or short story, or short stories in some cases, every month of the year of this year, 2022. And we also watch the adaptation or adaptations, if there's more than one. And we have a live chat after we finish reading and watching everything. And we compare, we contrast, we talk about everything. Anyway, for our September pick, we are reading 3 stories from the collection Night Shift. And this has to do with Labor Day, so we picked kind of labor thematic, job thematic stories. So we'll be reading The Lawnmower Man, The Mangler, and Graveyard Shift. And all 3 of those stories have a film adaptation that goes along with them. And I've heard some of them are quite bad. Like, for instance, I heard Lawnmower Man is like ridiculous and very different from the short story. So it's going to be a blast to compare the story with the movie. And yeah, The Mangler has a movie, Graveyard Shift has a movie, and I'm super jazzed to check them all out because I've not read Lawnmower Man, and I've not read Graveyard Shift. I have read The Mangler, but I've not seen any of the adaptations, which is rare for me. So it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be an extensive conversation because there's 3 films to talk about. The stories aren't that long either, so if you want to join in, it's 3 short, quick stories, and that's because in October we were reading Needful Things, so we wanted September to be something short, and plus it was thematic, like I said, for Labor Day. Next up, Harvest Home. It's on my TBR because I've been wanting to read it for a while, but also my friend Kelly over at Kelly Hooked on Books, check out her YouTube channel as well as her Instagram. I will link both below. She has a wonderful book club. It's called the From Hell Book Club, where she reads a lot of vintage horror with her club, and I like to join in if I can because I will take any excuse I can get to read more vintage horror. So yes, they're reading Harvest Home, and what better time to tackle a classic than with a group of friends. So I'm going to be reading along with that group, and I really am eager to see what I think about this book. Now, of course, this is by Thomas Tryon, and I never know if I'm saying it right, but he also wrote The Other as well as Night of the Moonbow, which I just read this very month. When I'm filming this, it's August right now, so I read it for August, and I really enjoyed it, even though it was a lot different than I expected. The writing was beautiful, and it surprised me by how it ended. So that's all I'll say. I'll talk about it a little bit more in my wrap-up, but having read that, and I've heard this is a little bit more horror heavy, I'm extra pumped to get to this and see what I think about this book, because this is a pretty well-known book and a horror staple in terms of classic horror. So what will I think of it? I will soon find out come September. And speaking of Kelly, from Kelly Hooked on Books, just to remind you, that's her channel name one more time, she read along with me Within These Walls by Anaya or Anya Alborn. I never know if I'm saying it right, but whatever way you want to say her first name, we read that book Within These Walls, and I really had a good time, but I'm not going to tell you my rating. We are going to be doing a live show together. She's going to be co-hosting with me on my channel. Our live show will be on September 1st, and that is a Thursday. So Thursday, September 1st at 7 p.m. Central Time. Please join us if you've read the book. We will talk spoilers, and we will talk opinions. And if you are in the live chat, you can share your opinions, and we'll read them out loud, and we'll interact with you, and we'll all just talk about what we thought of the book. And I'll also be sharing what my friend Amy Noel from Amy Noel Reads thought of the book, because she reviewed it on her channel because it was a book club pick for her book club, the Dark Hearts book club. So I will have that linked in the live show as well if you guys want to see what her book club thought of it and what she thought of it, as well as Amber from Secondhand Reader, who was the co-host with Amy. So I will have all that linked below in the live show, but please join us if you've read it. Next up, I want to talk about 2 arcs that I was given from 2 awesome authors. First up, I want to shout out Anthony J. Rapino, and I'm so eager to read this book. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So Tommy and the Order of Cosmic Champions, it's coming out very soon, and he asked if I wanted an arc, and I was like, heck yeah, I want one. And he's very sweet, by the way. We emailed back and forth, so I'm extra pumped to get to this book. So I'll be reading that in September, and I can't wait to see what I think about it. But also, just looking ahead, I'm going to try to fit this in October. I already had this last year. I bought his collection of stories. It's called Greetings from Moon Hill, and it's very appropriate for spooky season and Halloween time, so it'll be a very Anthony J. Rapino heavy fall for me, because first I'll be reading Tommy and the Order of Cosmic Champions, then I'm going to try to read this a month later in October. So I am really jazzed about both things, and it'll be really fun. Let me just tell you a little bit about Tommy and the Order of Cosmic Champions real quick. So Goodreads says, when life supplies 11-year-old Tommy Grant with some unfavorable circumstances intruding on his otherwise tranquil life in Ohio, he retreats into the spellbinding Order of Cosmic Champions. When he discovers that the largely successful animated program and toy line is holding a nationwide Create a Character contest where applicants submit their action figure designs, Tommy knows he has to enter as surely as he knows his own name. But when Tommy's character design fails to win the contest, he finds his world crumbling from all sides, and there is only one way he knows to fix it. What follows is a whirlwind coming-of-age adventure of righting wrongs, overcoming perilous obstacles, confronting our inner demons, and challenging the limits of reality. In this waxing nostalgic and imaginative fantasy, readers will discover what excitement lies waiting when you take risks and conquer your fears. Only one question remains. In the final hour, when you heed the call, the courage to give your all, will you stand or fall? So this is a little bit of a departure from my usual genre reading of horror, and this has a little bit of a fantasy element to it, but I'm excited and looking forward to it nonetheless, because I've really been digging coming-of-age stories recently, especially because I read a whole bunch of great ones in July, and so I am just ready to devour more coming-of-age stories. I am not sick of them at all. I know some people are a little tired of those types of stories, you know, with the popularity of Stranger Things and other books of that nature, but I am not tired of coming-of-age stories, and this one just seems really creative, and like it's going to have a lot of interesting elements to it, and I really like sometimes stepping out of my usual comfort zone and reading different things, and that's one of my goals for next year, so I'm starting early with reading this, and I still think it's going to be kind of in the same wheelhouse. It'll still have some spooky elements, I think, but it will have fantasy elements as well. And another arc I'll be reading in September, I've heard great things about this from friends, specifically Olly over at the channel Criminale, I will link his channel below, as well as Crystal from the channel Fiber Artsy. She did a wonderful discussion about this book on her YouTube channel, and so did Olly. So Crystal is at Fiber Artsy, Olly is at Criminale, I will link both below, and they had great things to say about this book. This book is The Final Women by Pardeep, and I'm probably going to butcher this last name, so I'll spell it for you guys. Aujla. So let me read you the premise. The mass-murdering Phantom of Haven Cove is dead. For the one who killed him, however, life has never been the same. How do you return to normality after facing such a monster? How do you live when consumed by guilt, anger, fear, and denial? How do you connect with others when no one understands what you've been through? But there are others, final girls of their own Haven Cove massacres, and now, 30 years later, they must all face a new question. What do you do when the killer returns? So I am definitely intrigued. Next up, a paperback from hell type of read, an old school horror paperback, Deliver Us from Evil. This actually is available as an Audible book. It's kind of expensive, but if you have the monthly credits, you could use your credit to read it, which I might actually do next month. So I've also heard wonderful things about this book, but a long time ago. I believe Cameron Chaney said he enjoyed this book. So this is by Alan Lee Harris, and I'm just really, really excited to get to this one because I've had it on my radar for over a year now. It was one of the early Paperbacks from Hell books that I found at a used bookstore in person, and ever since I bought it and found it, or found it and bought it, whatever order you want to say. Obviously, finding it comes before buying it. So ever since I found it and bought it, I have been wanting to read it. So let me just read you the back of the book.
The Snake Well, deep in the steamy backwoods of Georgia, is where a terrified 12-year-old girl loses her innocence and her life. It is an act so hideous and bizarre that even the few in town who know the details keep them as their own tortured secret. 14 years later, an orphan boy, a stranger, arrives in the sleepy town. With his arrival, the final stages of an ancient prophecy are set in motion, as evil stirs once again in the Snake Well, and the town's worst nightmare stalks its quiet nighttime streets. Now a voice calls from the deepest woods, drifting over bayou and river, rustling through vines, echoing in crawl spaces, beckoning to an orphan boy and a sheriff's son to save the unsuspecting town from a horrible destiny. Deliver us from evil.
Yes, sounds marvelous to me, quite honestly. Next up, so September 22nd is the first day of fall, and I'm going to kick off the first day of fall with a lot of things. I'm going to be doing a vlog, so I am really trying to plan ahead for that. I'm going to be reading thematic stuff for the vlog, but also decorating, taking out all of my Halloween clothes because I wear a Halloween shirt and or pants and or scarf and socks, and I've got a whole bunch of Halloween stuff. I wear something every single day of October, so I'll be pulling that out from my storage area in my closet, dusting them off and hanging them up. I'll be, like I said, decorating. I'll be taking my mugs out of storage and displaying those, like Halloween mugs. And I'll just be doing a lot of thematic things. I'll be baking, probably making thematic tea that day, and I'll be reading this, or starting to read this, I should say, When Halloween Was Green by Bernard K. Finnegan. So I mentioned in a video recently that next year I want to do an Irish horror themed reading vlog for St. Paddy's Day in March of 2023. And in preparation for that, I was looking up lists of either horror novels that were set in Ireland or horror novels that feature some kind of Irish element, like Irish myths or something of that nature, Irish creatures, etc., etc. This book was on the list, and with Halloween in the name, and after I read the premise, I was like, I can't wait till March of next year to read this. I have to read this for Halloween season, but I have a lot of things planned already for October of this spooky season. So I was like, why not read this in September, because it's quite chunky, you know, read it, check it off my list, and like get hyped and get ready for flippin' Halloween by doing this on the first day of fall, starting this then instead of waiting. And let me just show you the cool little chapter designs here. Sorry, my focus is set to be a little bit further away. So as you can see, look at this, wonderful. And the premise.
The Irish monsters of Halloween have returned. The scare in Halloween is gone from Middle America. With a celebrity-obsessed culture preferring glitter, pirates, and princesses, Keith and Benny McCool's frightening haunted house attraction isn't what it used to be. When the few remaining Halloween enthusiasts in town start turning up dead, the McCools unearth the source of the problem. Something has awakened from Halloween's distant past. The Celtic monsters and legends of old Ireland have discovered modern man has dumbed down every tradition that once protected mortals on the scariest night of the year, and they have plans this Halloween. But Keith and Benny have survived a lifetime of personal demons and possess insider knowledge of every Halloween fight ever devised. When the sun sets on October 31st, the McCools are the only ones who can confront the Celtic horrors not witnessed in 2,000 years. Things are about to get scary. Fast.
So Celtic things coming to haunt people who aren't taking Halloween seriously anymore. Sign me up yesterday. Oh, next up, last but certainly not least, the other thing I'll be doing on the first day of fall. I will be starting, like I said, that other book I just mentioned, but I will also be rereading some stories in Flippin' Autumncrow by Cameron Chaney, of course. Cameron Chaney, does he sound familiar to you? Well, he should, because he has a YouTube channel and a Patreon, so I will link both below. He is not only a fantastic booktuber, but he's also a magnificent, super talented author. And I read this last year. In fact, I have a whole vlog where I read this, and I also have a first day of fall vlog. So I have 2 vlogs where I'm reading parts of this. So in the first vlog, I start reading it, and in the other vlog where I'm traveling up in Boston, I continue reading this. So I'll link both vlogs below if you're curious about my thoughts about the book and all the stories in this book. Oh, it's just fantastic. If you're looking for a great thematic read for fall time, look no further. And if you've not already read this, you need to get on it because it's so thematic for the season. It really is wonderful. It has Ray Bradbury vibes, but it's also more approachable in that the writing is easy to digest. It's fantastic. And it's also morose, which I think is the perfect type of feeling for some stories for fall time, because you can't have it all be spooky as hell. You can't have it all be balls to the wall scary. You gotta have some melancholiness in some of your stories, I think, especially when talking about Halloween and fall. And I just feel like there's like a nostalgic kind of sadness to it in a way, because it's about, like, you know, summer dying away into winter, and, you know, anyway. Autumncrow has all of that, and that is why you should check it out. And that is why I'm extra excited to flip and reread some stories in here. So check out that vlog I'm going to be doing, and check out my previous vlogs if you're interested in hearing more about Autumncrow. Okay, that's my whole TBR. Like I said, I'm hoping to add some mood reads in here and there, but those are definite books that will be read in September. Those are my official picks for my TBR. What are you guys planning on reading for September? Are you getting amped up for Halloween time and for fall to officially begin? Also, have you read any of the books that are on my TBR? If so, which ones did you read? What'd you think about them? Please, no spoilers in the comments, but definitely give me your thoughts. You know, are you planning to read any of these if you haven't? Like, are you planning to also read some of the same things as me? Also, are you planning to read some of my book club reads with me? Please let me know. I'm so excited to hear all of the tea. All right, just comment below, because I think things are so much more fun when it's more than just me. When I get to interact with you guys, it makes everything so much better. All right, guys, but for this time, that is it for me. Till next time, you guys know what you can do. Keep on killing it. Bye, guys.